This is Dillian the Body Snatcher White. You're watching Boxing Social. Joseph Parker, you're gonna get banged out.
This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. I'm delighted to be joined by the Body Snatcher. We're here at the team hotel ahead of Dillian Whyte versus Joseph Parker this weekend at the O2. How are you, Dillian?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Training hard, excited. Just regathering my energy and ready to go again.
What have you been up to? It seems like only yesterday we were sat in Miguel'S gym discussing potential fights with Kubrat Pulev and maybe Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder, and then a couple of days later it was Joseph Parker.
It's just the way boxing goes, and always get ready for Pulev or Ortiz, but heavyweight boxing is a funny thing, and it changes like this. The heavyweight division is always changing like this. It's so quick the heavyweight division changed, so it's another twist to the heavyweight division, And not Pulev was messing about, was ready to go to Bulgaria and fight, was messing about. Deontay Wilder was messing the Luis Ortiz situation about. I was ready to fight Luis Ortiz, but I wanted Deontay Wilder to guarantee me he was going to fight me next. I'd beaten Luis Ortiz, and he wouldn't do that. So, didn't happen. Pulev messing around, after I said I'd give him what, I'll come to Bulgaria, this and the other. So Parker was serious, He's a very dangerous guy. He's trying to put himself back on the map, and it's a very, very dangerous fight because he feels he's got a lot to prove, and he's let himself and his family down last time out. So he wants to come back and prove a lot, which makes him very dangerous.
It's something that I mentioned to you a few weeks back at the press conference, something I also mentioned to Joseph Parker the other day. Neither of you had to take this fight. Joseph Parker coming off the back of admittedly a loss, but still on Sky Sports box office, former world heavyweight champion. Yourself, you've been ranked with all of the governing bodies for seemingly forever. What made you think, okay, I'm going to take this Joseph Parker fight, rather than, you're coming off the back of a career best win over Lucas Brown. Was there ever any temptation to tick over to preserve what you've got?
No, I'm a risk taker, I can sit down and wait a year, 2 years and then get my shot, but that's not my style, I'm here to entertain and give the fans a good fight and to test myself as well. I enjoy testing myself and I enjoy a challenge. I think Parker is a gallant challenge, So, yeah, I think it makes more sense fighting him than not fighting him, Like I said, I don't need to, but I want to give the fans nights to remember. When I'm done and it's all I want the fans to say, that Dillian Whyte, he fought everyone, he worked them all challenge and he took them all on and he beat them all, And that's what I want him to say, I want him to see that I was one of those guys that's into hiding from, I've always said I'll fight anyone, and I try my best to stick by that,
Now, when this fight was announced, a lot of rumours or speculation were that it would be an eliminator, a WBO eliminator. The WBO announced recently that that's not the case. Was that something that you took the fight expecting to happen? And when they announced that it wasn't going to happen, what did you feel?
I don't know about all that. That's Eddie's job. I don't know what the WBO say and what they don't say. I don't focus on that. I just get the fights and I just train and win. My team and Eddie deal with all that. I don't get involved in all of that. Brian Povetkin's number one. He's fighting Joshua now, so I win this fight, I'll be number one. Then we'll see. But I don't get involved in all that, man. That's not my place or whatever. I just fight, win the fight, we'll move on.
Tell me about training camp, because when I first saw you in the gym, one of my most frequent gyms that I've visited throughout my time in boxing is Miguel'S. As I understand it, you now do a lot of your training down in Loughborough or up in Loughborough. Tell me a little bit about training camp and how access to the facilities at Loughborough compared to Miguel'S has crafted you as a fighter.
It's a completely different facility. I got my own boxing gym there where it's just me alone that uses it, and then I got Olympic standard training facilities there. And then I have strength and conditioning coaches working with it. But Miguel'S is where it all started. It's not where I go. Almost gyms I get access to. Miguel'S have a lot of sentimental value, and that's why all the media days I go there. I go there. I try and give back. I try and inspire as much young kids there as I can. Like yesterday, I was there. And you see all the kids was getting crazy and stuff. So, Miguel'S is something special. But Loughborough is what Loughborough is. It's out of this world. But Miguel'S is something Miguel'S at Loughborough could never give me. That's where the journey started.
How important is that for you? I mean, I saw the videos and I've seen you down there working with guys like Richard Riakporhe, John Harding, Isaac Chamberlain. Yeah. You're sort of like the father of Miguel'S at the minute. You know, you're on the posters. You're at the gym regularly. Sorry, just get you in there.
Sorry,
that's okay, no problem. Picking it straight back up. Yeah, you're kind of like this, the father figure down there. How important is that for you, for somebody who's done it the hard way, and now you're in a position where you are in a position to inspire the people coming through that gym?
It's very important because one of my goals in boxing was to inspire the next generation, inspire people coming from similar background as me, and people from all other walks of life. You know what I mean? Whether they're from a wealthy background or a poor background, you know, so I inspire people. And it's good that I've made it to the position where I can inspire. You know, it all starts with people around you and local people around you, and that's where it starts. It grows and it builds and it grows and it builds, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just great to be in a position where the guys can look up to me, you know, and I go there, I train, I don't act like I'm anything better than them. I train with all of them, I spar with all of them, I talk the same rubbish all of them, I joke with all of them, mess about with all of them. So it's good to have a direct link to someone who they look up to, and someone who's pushing on and fighting against the odds and beating the odds. So it's just a good feeling to be in that position, you know.
Now, as I mentioned, Richard Riakporhe was somebody who boxed on your last undercard against Lucas Brown. He's now boxing on this card. What's it like to have him? I know you do a lot of sparring with Richie. I know Richie fairly well. What's it like working with him to keep you sharp in the gym? Obviously a bit lighter than you, a bit rangier. What's it like having him?
Yeah, Richard's good, you know. I mean, he's good boxing, you know. This camp I had him, I had Craig Richard, I had Fraser Clark, I had Fabio Wardley, and a few other guys. I mean, those guys was giving me good work, you know. They're much lighter than me, they're much active. Fraser's a big guy, Sims is a bit taller than me, big guy, rangy, strong guy, top GB amateur. But, you know, Richard, very good prospect, you know what I mean? Very talented, and somebody I know for a long time. We work together well. Me and him spar so much, and we're throwing the same punches, and at the same time, it's weird when I spar with him now. We know each other so well, we go for the same combinations. You know, I sparred everyone, you know, like I sparred Pesta was even a middleweight, you know what I mean? I sparred Craig Richard, who's a light heavyweight, you know, so it's good, you know, I'm just trying to mix and blend with the boys and trying to, you know, just trying to bring everyone through as I come through and trying to inspire them as much as I can, you know, because they're all doing great, you know, whatever the level is, they're doing great. You know, a lot of these guys, they've had no life or a lot of opportunity in life, so what they're doing is really good. But, you know, like I said, at the minute I'm leading a child. Richard seems to be coming through as the next guy, you know, and then there's a few more underneath him that's coming through as well.
Good potential sparring for Deontay Wilder, Richie.
Yeah, he's very good. You know, Richie's he's a bit taller than Parker, but it's a good sparring for Parker because he's ranging, he's got quick hands and he's sharp, you know what I mean, and he's got good feet as well, so it's very good sparring, you know.
Now you're an established, you're a world-class heavyweight. It's not always been that case. You started off from the bottom in boxing in small halls. You have a kickboxing background. Do you remember the first time that you went to Miguel'S gym? Do you remember walking through the doors for the first time? I mean, it's like an iconic gym, going down that little pathway and then going in there. It's very South London. Do you remember the first time you went in there?
Yeah, I remember the first time I went in there. There's guys like Ian Lewison in there smashing it. You know, there's other guys in there that was smashing it. I was looking at $1 million, and I was just walking as a kid with the pimp soles, the rarest boxing gloves you've ever seen, you know, and everything. But, but it was good. It was a great experience, man, you know. I felt at home there, and I never left, you know. Wherever I am, I always go back, you know. Even though I train Loughborough, I still train at Miguel once or twice a week.
Your brothers, one of them is actually responsible for your half goatee. So let's get that out of the way before we move on. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, me and my brothers, there was a relationship where he was playing and messing about. I think last time I glued his hands together like that when he was asleep with super glue, and he wake up and he couldn't move his hands. So it was like that for a long time. Because super glue is something you can't rip or you can't think, so we had to melt it and cut it off. So, you know, it was funny to do my beard, you know, because he knows I haven't got a lot of facial hair and I'm quite territorial about my facial hair. So he done that thinking, it's going to annoy me, I'm going to shave it off or whatever, but I ain't done that. What I might do, I might just dye the whole thing blonde now. I might bleach it blonde. So let's see, ginger, whatever it is, let's see what happens, you know. But, you know, this brother thing, you know, I think I might, when he's asleep, I might glue his hand to his face next time. You know, but I would super glue rip his skin, that's how I won't glue his hand to his face, but I might get some other glue or something. I might put his hand in cold water and see if it makes him pee himself. So we'll see.
Now, obviously, I don't know, to state the obvious, I don't know you as well as your brothers do. So, I mean, when you told me that, I was thinking, hang on, what, in fight week, you dyed his beard while he's asleep? I was thinking that that's probably not the best thing to do to you during fight week. But obviously, they know you a lot better than me. How important is it to have that kind of relief during fight week, to still have those kind of brotherly games that maybe you wouldn't get if obviously they weren't around?
No, I'm serious. I take it seriously. I can be quite aggressive and be a bit of a penis as it gets closer to the fight, but they're my brothers. I'm never gonna have an argument with my brother. Me and my brothers, we have arguments. So I'm not gonna go crazy at my brother because he dyed my beard or whatever. It's something that I would laugh about normally, because it's something that it used to annoy me. So I laugh about it. So, I just laughed about it. I woke up, like I didn't know it. I woke up, I went about my day. Everything was good. I was knocking about, and then someone said, "What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? What's that in your face?" I was like, "We don't be stupid. Even what's wrong with my face?" And then after that, look, what's wrong with your face? And after I looked in the mirror and I saw it, and then I started laughing straight away because I knew it was him, And if he was with me all day, he'd even tell me, But it's funny. It's great to have that, that sort of family around you, and it's good because my job is all serious. A lot of guys are just serious and I'm a big, strong heavyweight and all that. No, it's good to have people who can never laugh with and mess about with, me and my brothers and just crack on, man. It's funny because I got a different relationship with all my brothers. The older one, me and him have fist fights all the time. Younger one, I wind him up all the time. Then the one that's, the one that's just younger than me, like you said, I tie his feet together. I glue the sole of his feet together, glue his hands together and stuff like that, So yeah, it's good. It's very good.
Now, when I first reached out to do this interview a number of weeks ago, I know you've been very busy doing a lot of media in the build-up to this fight. This was before that you'd done the excellent interview with Anna Warhouse, credit where credit's due. Unfortunately, she did step on a lot of questions that I wanted to ask you. But one of the things that sort of I have some experience with is one of my oldest friends is Jamaican. He's one of 5 Jamaican brothers. So I have a small insight as to what that's like growing up. But just tell me a little bit about that. I mean, does that have any bearing or any influence on who you are now? I mean, obviously you're still very close.
Yeah, of course it does. It's always good to know you have brothers that will back you up if it ever went down. It was good growing up around South London. I know you had brothers. If it went down, you know that okay, my backup's a phone call away, or I just need to get home or whatever. So it was always good, But it made us very competitive amongst each other, And it was just good to have brothers, man. I'm glad my parents had a big family, a lot of kids, because imagine how sad it would be just be you by yourself or just you and one sister or something like that. That's quite sad, Me and my brothers, if one of them weren't talking to one of the other ones would be talking to me, So I was never felt, it was great, man. And like I say, they helped shape me. When I fight and that, I was around, I was around knocking about with me and stuff, helping me train. They don't train the same level I train, but just being in the gym and they're with me, it spurs me on, and pushes me. Then my older brother, he knows the boxing game technically and stuff like that, so he gives advice in my sparring, this and the other. And the things he told me the truth, he doesn't sugarcoat it. He told me straight, this is, so it's good to have, and I know I can trust these guys, I know that, I can trust them 100%, so it's great to have that relationship with my brothers,
Talk to me a little bit about your background before boxing. So your kickboxing career, I'm quite interested in. My colleague with me knows more about your kickboxing career than I do. But tell me a little bit about that and how that sort of the transition from kickboxing into boxing.
Well, it's simple. I was getting into trouble all the time. I got into kickboxing to keep me out of trouble, and then clearly I got a knack for fighting. And one thing led to another, and then years later I was one of the top guys around, and eventually I went to boxing to learn how to box properly, because kickboxing and boxing is two different style. Two different style. Went to boxing as a box. The boxing coach saw something in me and he believed in me, and he kept saying to me, listen, man, you're a future heavyweight champion walking around. You need to stop all this, boxing. You need to stop all this kickboxing nonsense, all this kicking and all this nonsense. You need to stop all that nonsense and come into the real sport, blah, blah, blah. Boxing coach is very disrespectful to us combat sports, so it was like, stop all this kickboxing nonsense, all this kicking and kneeing nonsense, come and the real sport. So I was like, yeah, whatever. It's all good to say that because, and then one thing led to another, and then next thing I was having amateur fights, out of nowhere amateur fights came, and then it built, and after I thought, I'm gonna give this boxing thing a shot. And then I found out my dad and my granddad did a bit bare knuckle boxing. Not no high level, that's a bit of whatever, make a little bit of change or whatever back in the day, and then after I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try boxing properly, and then that's it. One thing led to another, and then here I am.
Now, one thing that always fascinates me is your relationship with Mark Tibbs. Mark is one of the best young well, he's youngish. If Mark's watching this, I'm very sorry to say he's not as old as Jimmy Tibbs.
Well, what one would beg to differ? I think he's Jimmy's dad. Could address his water, please?
But one thing that does fascinate me is sort of like your career progression to working with Mark Tibbs. You've obviously not always been with him. You had a time with Jonathan Banks. You obviously had different trainers before then. How have you developed under new tutelage throughout your career?
I've had good trainers. All my trainers have been good. All of them helped me to get to where I am. They helped me to get the position to where I am. So they've been good trainers, but I never had a lot of time to work with, like i.e. Jonathan Banks and stuff like that, because they teach me a new style. You can't learn something new in 6 to 8 weeks or 12 weeks training camp. It takes years. Me and Mark's been training together. We've had 8. This is coming to our 8 fights. We've training camp, and we're working constantly. And Mark don't try and change my style too much. He just try and add little bits in that he thinks will give me an edge. Or I think will make him more explosive or more accurate or more effective. So it's great. And we speak. It's not it's my way. If I'm telling you to throw this punch or to throw a punch, no. You know what I mean? We speak, and he's like, we're going to work on this. So if he feels awkward, let's work a variation of it, and stuff like that. So that, and that's what makes a good trainer, someone who's adaptable and who's versatile, and he's okay at all of that, so yeah. Now,
I assume that one of the first times you met Jonathan Banks, who you trained with for a short period of time, is when you went over to spar with Vladimir Klitschko. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. How influential was that period in the Ukraine in your professional career? How helpful was that for you?
It was good, up in Austria, Klitschko trained up in Austria. It was good. It was very good up there, seeing the champ at work, spending time with him, doing rounds with him, and just seeing what he does, see how he does it, see him go through sparring partner to sparring partner, Remember once there was like 7 guys there or something, and about 5 of them got knocked out, like badly, like in the first week of sparring, and then you think, wow, this stuff is real, But it's good because it makes you get into a place you're thinking, I'm not joining those other 5, no way. No way. So it's good, it gets you fired up and stuff like that. You approach the training differently, and it's good. Very, very good experience. It's a great experience. I couldn't ask anything more at the time,
Story that sort of circulated over the period of time is that's one of the first times you spent some time with Anthony Joshua. Is that right?
Yeah, since the amateur fight was one of the first time that we sort of hang out because we was both in camp. Went after him, whatever, and then they got squashed, and the guys were like, come on guys, you guys are here for the champ. You guys have to get on or whatever. And then, us being amicable human beings, we decided to get on at the time. And then the fight come out of nowhere like that, and then, I like hatred and all of that stuff, just refuel the flame. Sorry.
It's okay. No problem. You move around if you want to. How much of that with you and Anthony Joshua is competition? I mean, over the years you have, the likes of Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera.
It's our competition. If you only fight 10 times, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a proper dust-up, a proper slugfest and a proper dust-up, And we'll bring something nasty out of each other every time.
Where I was going with that is, as you say, Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales hated each other when they were competing, punches at press conferences and things like that. Now they're out for dinner with each other's wives. Could you imagine a time in the future when you and Anthony Joshua have finished your boxing careers, you've gone on to achieve what you wanted to achieve, that potentially that could happen between you guys?
I ain't gonna beef with him. If I see the fella, I say, you alright, mate, and that's it. I'm not gonna go crazy if I see him, but once me and him is engaging in combat or we're about to, then, it will get nasty. That's just how it is. Because we respect each other, but we don't necessarily like each other,
Joseph Parker, Tell me about Joseph Parker without giving away too much of your game plan.
He's a good young fighter. He's good at everything. He can box. He's got speed. He's got decent movement. He's got decent power. Sorry, I'm just shit money. Decent movement, decent power. This and the other. You know, as his coach, he's never been down before. You know, he's got 20-something years of boxing experience. So yeah, he's a legitimate threat. You know, it's very, 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 very. He's a real live threat. You know.
How much are you taking from his last fight with Anthony Joshua? Styles make fights, that old adage, but it is true. You're a very different fighter to Anthony Joshua. Are you reading too much into that, or are you going to try and implement your own fight?
I'm not reading too much into that. You have to look at everyone's last performance. I'm not reading too much into that because maybe he was just scared of Joshua. Maybe he's not scared of me, so I don't read too much into that. I'm training hard as you can see, you know, and I try and go as hard as I can and make sure I'm ready as I can be.
I watched the gloves are off. One of the things that has struck me about the build-up to this is, I mean, I've seen your build-up with Derek Chisora, I've seen your build-up with Lucas Brown, so I've seen tables and swear. There's not been that much of this during the build-up to this. There's been the odd comment. Why is that? Is it because of who Joseph Parker is? Are you now maturing a little bit more in your career?
I haven't got no problem with Joseph Parker. I usually have a problem with these guys because they're coming under me, so I have to do something to defend myself, whether it's physical or verbal. Parker, there's no issues. You know, it's a good fight. It's a strong fight. The fight's going to sell. He's going to come to fight, hopefully. And I think he will, because I don't think he respects me as a fighter. I think he thinks that, you know, I'm slower, he can outbox me, or he's better technical than me. So let's see.
With this fight not having sort of an official tag to it, like an eliminator or a title, I mean, it has some international titles attached to it. Is there any risk on your front of sort of being in the same position that you've been in for a while with not being a mandatory challenger? I mean, I know Deontay Wilder and Dominic Breazeale look to be fighting. Hopefully, in your case, after that fight has happened, you'll be a WBC mandatory challenger. But if that doesn't happen, assuming you come through this, is that going to be on your mind, the fact that you've continually put yourself out there in big fights?
I just fight on. I just fight on. The fights will come. I just fight on, keep on big fights and giving the fans the fights they want. You know, it will come. It will come. It will come. They can't hide forever. It will come.
How's your relationship with Eddie Hearn? It's been sort of up and down over the last few years.
I've always had a good relationship with Eddie, and we did great business together. But sometimes Eddie don't understand. He's already a millionaire. I'm not. He's already at the top of his game. I'm not. So sometimes I'm a bit eager. Sometimes I'm a bit restless, whatever. But I keep pushing him. I keep handling him. But he's got to understand. Eddie Hearn financially is here. Financially, I'm not there. I'm trying to get up to that level. I'm trying to get close to that level. So, you know what I mean? I even get past that level. So I'm just trying to force the issue and keep pushing, because no one is going to give you anything. I don't want to come and say, oh, here's 20 million. No, you have to go and earn it. And that's all I'm trying to do. But sometimes I push Eddie, and he gets frustrated, as do I get frustrated. But you just got to understand, Eddie Hearn's got 1 or 2 Rolls Royce. I haven't got one.
Well, I don't even have a driver's license. So, you're doing better than me.
That's my choice.
Fight that you've been chasing for a while, or certainly you've been linked with, is Deontay Wilder. In the last 24 hours, Tyson Fury has volunteered to take the place of Anthony Joshua and yourself. Do you read too much into that? Tyson Fury talking about a fight with Deontay Wilder?
I don't read too much into anything Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is a madman. Yeah, he's a madman. I don't read anything to what he said. Just let him crack on. Good luck to him. If you believe he can do it, then good luck to him. But I think he gets smoked. He's too inactive and too rusty.
Anthony Joshua against Alexander Povetkin. I'm drawn to a comment that you made in that interview with Anna Warhouse, where obviously you caught Anthony Joshua when you fought with a left hook. You said, if you've got a good left hook, you can beat Anthony Joshua. Alexander Povetkin has a good left hook. Do you see that being a problematic fight for Joshua?
I don't think it's a good left hook. I think he's too short. I think it's a decent left hook, but I think he's too short. Landing it's going to be a problem. Joshua's going to keep it long, keep it moving, keep boxing and keep jabbing. I think he stopped Povetkin in the first 6.
Do you see that being sort of in any way a problematic fight? Is that something that you sort of expect on any, say, inside 6 rounds? Do you think it's going to be very routine for Joshua?
No, I think he's a dangerous fight. I think Povetkin will come, but I just think Joshua will keep him at range and pick him off like Klitschko did. But I think Joshua's got more combination of what Klitschko does, and Joshua's a bit more aggressive. So I think he stops him earlier. You know, Klitschko didn't stop him, but Klitschko's hit him with the right punch, but he didn't put enough pressure on.
This Saturday, you're fighting on box office as a headline event for the second time. The first time seems like a lifetime ago. Anthony Joshua for the British and Commonwealth titles. How are you different now than the build up to that? I mean, it seems, as I say, a lifetime ago. Is it different now? Do you feel different?
I'm a completely different human being, mentally and physically. Physically, just look at me now and look at me then. You know, different. Mentally, listen to me now and listen to me then. You know, I'm different all around. You know, like I said, technically everything, I'm just different all around. Look at then and look at now.
Do you think it's more important that you're different technically or different mentally?
It's double-edged sword, isn't it? You know, there's no point being technically good if mentally you're not good. No point being mentally good if you're technically you're not good. The double-edged sword, you know. To find the right balance.
Find the right balance, indeed. Just lastly, something that you've commented on in the past. This card's taken a lot of flack about being pay-per-view. Does any of that affect you? Does any of that reach your ear in the build-up to this?
I don't care. People, you can't keep everyone happy. I think it's a good card with good fights. You know, what I mean, proper 50-50 fights. So, you know, let people say what they want and do what they want. You know, you can't keep everyone happy and make everyone smile. You know, as long as you keep some people happy and keep some people smiling, that's all that matters.
Okay, well, just finally, Dillian, I'd like you to give a message to fans who are going to be tuning in to watch you against Joseph Parker this weekend.
I want to say big up to Boxing Social for the interview. Sorry I'm a little bit tired today. Training's been hard and it's been a long day. But I want to say thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you tune in. If you're not there, try and subscribe, get the fight. It's going to be a good fight. I'm going to try and leave it all on the line as I do. And just thank you guys for the support. See you guys in a couple of days.
Okay, well, Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte, always a pleasure catching up with you. I'll let you go and get some sleep now. Appreciate your time. Thanks for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you. Big up.